If you are wondering who this guy is, this is Kataps, and I've always given you videos that about agriculture majorly. I do poultry and I do pigs. You ask me questions which I answer as I must answer because you are my followers. And when I started with this channel, I never knew it would go all this far. My experience has taught some people. You can look at this structure here. It's a very long structure. That is 30 feet by 25 feet here. This structure is a storied one. And what you've been asking about, should I do a storied building? Should I do a short one? All this will be answered here. And you can see it saves space automatically. If you're having a small plot, maybe 50 by 100, you have a plot of 100 by 100, this is ideal. But of course, everything comes with some of the loopholes. You can see it saves space, but can it fit everywhere? So stick around in this video. We are going to share everything until we realize that it has both advantages and disadvantages. So if you are new here, please subscribe. And if you have been here, share the videos so that you can say that whatever we discussed has been accumulating with everyone. You can say I do matoke here. Majorly I do some matoke. I have pigs. I have birds. And that's all on this farm. But it is a bit bigger that I'm having bigger plans to make it a call it a quarter-acre model farm. There are some friends of mine who are in Abu Dhabi, those who are in Asian countries. They are doing some jobs to get money to do poultry farming in Uganda. And usually they ask me for some questions. They come and say in my comment section, perhaps what should I build? What structure should I build for my birds? Do I need a solid building or need just a simple structure? The question like that, I couldn't fail to answer it. So today I'm answering the question of what kind of structure should I go with? The solid building or a simple structure? The structure that you need depends on the money you have. Depends on the location you come from. And also depends on what you want. What I know, you want to poultry farm, you want to do chicken. If you want to do layers, this structure, the storage house is ideal. It's one of the best. The storage building is one of the best. But still, if you are living in a hill place that has a lot of winds, you cannot do a storage building. Because anytime the wind will blow it away. You can see this structure of mine is about 21 feet high, and building such a structure of 21 feet high is not really possible that you can have it in the hill. I'm born in Kabale, whereby the hills are over, what can I say, about 100 meters high. Such a hill cannot put a structure like this one. Anytime the wind blows it away. So when you come from a hill, you have to consider that the structures should be a bit lower. So we say you can build maybe 9 feet because we're considering 8 feet for the birds, then maybe 1 feet for the roof. So we consider 8 feet and 9 feet in the villages which are hilly, or in the towns which are hilly. We consider this just first floor, not a solid building. Now, if you are to do a poultry farm, how much do we have? This structure that is solid is a little bit expensive. Mine, I used about $5,000 US, meaning that if you are to start and you don't have that kind of money, we can't scare you off. Start with the money you have. Simple structure, build only one floor. Because you can see, these poles, they're very strong and very expensive to use. Look at this foundation. We used bricks for the foundation. Then after the foundation, we put a very strong wood. In that wood, we had to put a mesh. We enhance our structures so that when the thief comes, has to struggle to remove it. At least you can see the spacing. We ensure that the head of the person does not pass. Now look at, this first structure is built as the second one is built. This first one needs the foundation. Then there is another foundation for the second structure. There is timber you put on. And that timber should be strong timber too. Such timber If you don't use a good one to rot in a single year, maybe the termites eat it, it gets very spoiled as fast as possible. There is the water which pours there, meaning you should do a structure that you can ensure can last for at least 20 years. You can't put the $5,000 and don't use it for 20 years. That money would be a waste in a short time. Now, when you look at my structure here, you see like a pole like this one on the corner, when you were to buy it around here where I stay, that's about 50,000 Ugandan shillings. That's about like $2, yes, $2. And there are over 40 poles on here. If you check the foundation that I used, these holes that were put, the holes are really to get the poles in, and then the whole the structure. We would have used the concrete, but concrete was very expensive by then. We couldn't afford that money. This thing was built 2021, and I can't tell you that I could get the money to build this thing unless I got a funder. So because I could not afford such a money by then, I had to build what I could afford. So I built using simple materials. As you can see, everything is simple. Simple wood, then simple timber, simple mesh, everything is simple. But at least strong enough to hold the structure, but are again affordable for anybody. I want to comment on this, the storage building for the chickens. These birds, when you use a storage building, the problem I found, number one, is that infections, when they affect one floor, even the second floor is affected automatically. In 2023, I got an infection of infectious coryza. I remember in the evening, I found the birds in the first floor coughing, and they were breathing badly. I didn't understand it. I had to treat them in the morning, start treatment. Of course, at the time I started looking for every kind of herbs. I did everything possible, but by the next day, the upstairs also they were sick. So I'm treating the downstairs, upstairs get sick, and then you can see what kind of problem was here. Had I been having maybe 2 structures, I would have used a lot of biosecurity, and then I stopped the upstairs from getting sick. But you know, these viral diseases, which go by air, you can't control them if you are nearby each structure. So what I would encourage is that with biosecurity, you can still have your structure run. But without maximum security or biosecurity, you cannot have these 2 structures. You can imagine when you have workers, they would use the same overall, the up and the down, whether you want it or not, because the strict measures you put, sometimes they are not followed by them. So you have to ensure that you have 2 structures if you are a beginner, or else you have to be there yourself, always yourself. They say experience is the best teacher, and these things of poultry farming, I've had experience on 2 major things: diseases, lighting, price of eggs, of course, and many other things. Now, when I talk about the lighting, light can either give you eggs or it can deny you eggs. Too much light will cause the birds to eat their eggs, and too much light will make the birds overeat your feeds, and then you lose some feed. But again, also too little light, they may make the birds not to eat, and too little light make the birds, of course, not to lay eggs well. Here, our structures being double storied, the downstairs, you must give it a lot of aeration because the light ends so early, and you must be in a place that is not having any any hindrance for light. Look at this place I live on here. There is a fence there. When you look at this fence, is for a neighbor. Of course, also put my fence, but if I put a structure here and it is solid, meaning the downstairs will never have aeration and will never have the light that is enough. Which means if you're constructing your structures, you have to consider, will I receive light? Which direction? If the sun sets from this direction, you must ensure that your structure has aeration from there. If the sun rises from this direction, there must be aeration from there. That means a source of light. But if like here, there is this fence here, it means I can never receive the light. And that is what I faced. I faced that challenge. My neighbor has a fence. My neighbor has a fence. and there's nothing to do. The structure was almost useless to me because the birds will always not eat their feed. They feel it is always wet. There's no aeration. You can't remove all the timber because there is a way the structure should be designed. The timber follows the mesh, and at least you have 8 feet up. Then you have 4 feet mesh and 4 feet timber. But my structure was really poorly aerated, and I ended up using it as a store. And of course, it's a challenge. You can't store things downstairs. Now, what am I aiming at? The next is to build other structure, and this one I abandon it, or I remove the stair. I keep only one. Another thing that I observe is that when you're constructing these structures, the solid buildings don't last. Unless you want to tell me that for you have so much money that you can do it very strong. When you look here, I started with this. This is the bricks. The foundation is made of bricks. Then the columns are also timber. I didn't put any concrete columns because I didn't have that money by then. But still, this is far expensive than constructing just a simple one. This structure cost me around 5,000 US dollars. That's about 15 million Ugandan shillings, about 15 million, yes. But if it was to be a single structure, I would be halfway that one. Actually, not even halfway. I would be far less that, because this second floor takes a lot of timber. Then the timber that goes up is the same number of timber as this one. Then the same iron sheets which are up there could be the same, of course, iron sheets. But these ones, the timber I'm using here are so strong that I could have bought less stronger wood than these ones, heavy wood. Unless you have your own wood, this kind of wood is very expensive for you and it can't work for you because we are starters. I know most of my subscribers are starters, and I wouldn't want to scare you. By the way, I've always wanted to tell people that if you're starting a poultry farm, you look very far, but with eyes inside your heart. Don't look very far with also far eyes. You use your brain, use your heart. That's the passion. Then you start something. Rather than using the eyes, see very far, you have nothing like passion at your heart, then you have nothing to earn from, then you think you can do something and keep waiting, procrastinating, postponing. No. You start with what you have. If you can't afford a big structure like this one, start with a small structure. People have asked me how much this structure costed me, but of course I've given you the quantification, I've given you the calculations. This structure cost me 5,000 US dollars. Please, if you are new here, subscribe. And if you have been here, let's share other videos to other people. Because I know whatever I share may help someone outside there. In the beginning, I didn't know that I was helping people. Until when people like you started commenting, telling me in the comment section that thank you so much. And we are grateful. Whenever you say thank you so much, we also say maybe we're helping the world. See you next time. Bye-bye.